from a piece of my own writing called The Pathology of Feminism by Man Going His Own Way. Someone somewhere once said, "It is a man's world." That must have been a long, long time ago in a planet somewhere near Earth. Feminists needn't worry about victory. They have already attained it. In every sector of society, their indoctrination has found its ways into every institution, effectively dominating every citizen, misguided by its gynocentric ideals, reducing the male species to conformist, obsequious servants of women, and turning men into useful subject objects with as much disposability as a used tampon. The male species who used to be described as men before the cultural Marxists dominated the social sphere, defined as such by their agency and purpose, have, as a consequence, been subordinated to the agenda of a socio-political, economic, cultural conspiracy designed to emasculate men and destroy the dignity of so-called men everywhere. Indeed, today's man is a pawn in their wicked game, unknowingly complicit by his cowardly silence and public support for gynocentrism, ensures that the chess game is rigged in women's favour. So deep are the roots of its philosophy and biology that to uncover the truth would require an excavation project of 1,000 years. So pronounced is this female expectation of male provision as a necessity for survival that rather than organise themselves effectively as a revolutionary force to subvert the pathology of male-dominated hierarchy, have chosen instead to exact their revenge through manipulation of the very systems put in place by men that protected and provided for them in the first place, and by first principle. In their vile antagonism and devious manipulation, the feminists have decided to denigrate, shame, and humiliate their wiser and more productive counterparts in the evolutionary TikTok, extract their resources, leaving men with less than nothing minus the children, and usurping the courts and judicial systems to paint themselves as victims in the process, relegating their men to prisons with false rape and domestic abuse allegations, undermining the seriousness of true cases of domestic and societal abuse in both men and women all over the world. Vanity in ancient times was the exclusive pursuit of women with the leisure time to paint their nails, while their men valiantly fought on the battlefield with sword and shield, dying by the millions, while they inherited everything. Narcissism's poisonous clutches have infected the entire culture, such that today we exist in a world more sexually and gender confused than ever, with men and women bitching at each other in the homes and offices, the new battlegrounds of the gender wars that have breached the borders of all Western nations. Prominent in this counter-revolutionary agenda are the men's rights movement and the MGTOW generation of red pill-swallowing men disenfranchised by the state, who have joined ranks to even the score against this feminist madness and politically correct sewer of profane postmodern manginas, and the weak men who support it with their balls in chains by the sadomasochistic fetishes that has vice-gripped their gonads in service of female fascists all over the country. Moreover, those same women expect to simply show up with a pair of fat-injected tits and ass and expect the man to hand over his goods at the drop of their hat, endure 100 shit tests, and swallow them whole without complaint. Any man who demonstrates individuality and insight into this collective narcissism is immediately branded, as you would a disposable product, and robotically labelled a misogynist, worthy of the contempt and rejection reserved for a stray dog in a third world slum. To the scrap heap with the losers, rejects, sociopaths, savages and other noble outsiders who have chosen to vomit out this blue pill garbage, and to the victory line, the meek humble breadwinners who bring home the goods like mama's little boy squeak, with her traps firmly wired shut, while their feminist bitch wives refuse to cook, clean, have sex or show affection unless they are bribed for a weekly trip to the shopping mall to buy all the wonderful gifts she feels is her divine entitlement. A lovely Sunday in paradise for her subby hubby after a 60-hour working week at the pussy farm, while his lady of leisure spends her days talking about shopping, handbags and jewellery, with her girl fiends assuaging her boredom with an affair with Dusty Sixpack and his gangbang buddies down at the local boozer. The dejected husband, midway through his torturous life sentence, turns to porn and jacks off to the slamest slut, liberated skanky hose on his laptop, watching blokes take it up the ass with a chili-infused rubber ding-dong to get his kicks at the fanny store, while his rent-a-whore wife takes him to court to shaft him royally, leaving him with a lifetime of debt and broken dreams, while she gets everything, minus the garage and the mouldy pipes. As men, we are told to man up and accept this treatment without protest, because, if we should dare to do so, there is always 10 other cooks who will mangina up to the click of her fingers. That is, until she is too old, fat, ugly and desperate to attract even the lowest esteemed monkey in the pack, and she has no recourse but to join the hairy Marys and wage war against good men everywhere. Or she becomes a spinster or cougar, anything to avoid accountability, reasonableness, and become a respectful, independent warrior woman, affording men the opportunity to win back their power and respect and autonomy as is the birthright of all humans, without the need to cuckold and cater to the narcissistic demands of spoiled Western women, the kind who would get you arrested for daring to look at her on the street. Moral outrage is anathema to the puerile sanctity of cook-loving pussy merchants, whose compliant male servants and disgustingly obedient sycophants have all but transformed us into offenders and psychiatric patients who have been so dosed up with blue pills there is almost no testosterone left in the packets. Thus, nothing is more offensive to the middle class, make that mediocre citizen, than man going his own way, a man of rarity, wisdom, and inner fortitude, those virtues so despised by the cult of vanity and its toxic consumerism, that in place of the romantic night, shaman poet and wise teacher philosopher, we have this spineless, claptrap politician and entrepreneur capitalizing on a meaningless series of binding contracts and written in law lies, driven by petulant women and their subservient male tampon bags to rob men of their dignity, purpose, and spiritual legacy. Furthermore, this foul, stinking to heaven enterprise actually demeans and disinherits women. The feminist victory is thus a hollow one, with as much heart and depth as a poached microwaved salmon in a hire purchase kitchen, paid for in bitcoins by the lucky blue-pilled husband, too deaf and blind to register that his wealth has already been transferred to her name. The contemporary cook with as much balls as an empty pool table is left with a cheque, flagellating his puny dick in the wind, resigned to a life of debt and boring sex, while his dominatrix laughs her leather pants off all the way to the bank, stopping at the casino to give the busboy a blowjob before she cashes in. The men who are left are resigned to enduring mindless chit-chat over sport at the bar, while their dates ignore them playing with their mobile toy boys on Tinder, while shopping for the latest yoga pants from the Mangina superstore, ending the appointment with a peck on the slapped red cheek of his Chevy Chase, before getting off with Mr. Fake Fucking Taxi outside the sex club. It is not that morality or virtue has been turned on its head, but that it has been twisted beyond recognition, such that it can now be scientifically demonstrated that there is no such thing as a man or a woman. Nothing could give the feminists a hard-on like that one. Now men are allowed by law to go into women's toilets dressed like their mother's ugly sister, and all those who bat an eyelid are up in court for harassment, with their dog-in-chain manginas, while their dog-in-chain manginas are publicly praising their hard-won efforts to give women equality in the social sphere. Everywhere men are now marching to the beat of pussy power, expecting the not-too-distant future to witness the rise of she-males and tranny-dannies, whipping their male slaves into submission in public man-slut-shaming to the appreciation of an enraptured audience, before being crucified by the cunts that have turned this beautiful world upside down, the foundations of a civilization now crumbling, replaced by the alpha female new world order. Over and out. Mark Anthony. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.